Just ahead on Crossroads, when the weather's bad, Grant County Sheriff's deputies don't hunker down. They head out to keep us safe.
Debbie Ballard from the Grant County Rescue Mission talks about the Walk-a-Mile tradition coming back to Marion soon.
You can wash that snow right out of your drive and get to IWU's production of South Pacific on stage. We'll get a preview.
And they never lost a game in 1985. 30 years later, the Marion Giants fans still remember. It's all just ahead on Crossroads.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Crossroads. I'm Randall King.
And I'm Shaylee Clark.
And here we are actually thinking now about mid-February, which, believe it or not, officially sounds close to spring, although we know March can be kind of crazy around here.
Oh, I'm counting the dates. And the best part about February is, I don't know about you, but it just feels like it's the month that goes by the fastest.
I heard an interesting stat the other day. Do you know where we were in 2014, a year ago, with snowfall by this time of year?
Do I even want to hear this?
In central Indiana? 36 inches.
That
About
is
7
crazy.
inches right now. Isn't this more normal? You've been in Indiana longer than I have. This is more normal.
Oh yeah, I mean, growing up as a kid, you love the snow, you go out and you play in it, and you get about 10 inches maybe a year, but yeah, last year, let's not remember those days.
This seems like a more normal Midwestern winter, which is, I tell my friends down south, you know what, it snows, we check it out, and then we go on about our lives. Whereas down the south, it's just like, oh, it's a forecast of snow, go buy bread, stay home.
But you still don't I mean, as long as you live here, it's never easy to get out and drive in
No,
it.
no.
Because it's so unpredictable. You don't know black ice or if you're just a bad driver like me, you just don't know.
And through the years doing Crossroads, we've gone out with a number of the public servants. I know you've spent time with the fire department, and I've gone out with them a couple of times in extreme weather, a lot of different things. And it is usually a storm that gets our cameras there. But for every one of those people who heads out in the weather, it's for them another day on the job. Putting our safety as a top priority for them, even when some of us might be thinking otherwise.
Was this part of it or no? Okay.
It may look like an ordinary fender bender, but Grant County Sheriff's Deputy Brent Beebe says it's never routine.
So you crashed back there, right? I want to make sure I understand. You crashed back there?
And then I started to brake, and then I fishtailed, and my car slowly started drifting towards the sign. And as soon as it hit the sign, it pretty much stopped and just took the bumper with it.
Sometimes people see the red and blue lights and then they didn't prepare as well as they should have. Sure you're all right?
Oh yeah, seatbelt on.
Good. Usually if an officer is standing outside of a car with his lights on and ordering somebody to slow down, they'll do that. Yeah, I don't think it's going to get any better today. So until we got that front bumper pushed back, I felt like we needed to stay there just to make sure nobody got hit.
We rode along when the forecast said winter storm, but still some weren't thinking about their own driving safety or the red lights.
I'll turn my radar on and we'll sit up there on the interstate on a crash scene, and there will still be people up there running 75 miles per hour. Like the lights don't mean anything, I don't know what the rationale is. Obviously we're in the middle of a crash scene, so it's obviously slick, but people think they're invincible and still get up there and speed. And people don't realize how quickly you can be spun out of control.
All in a day's work, maybe, but ordinary for public servants is life's crises for everyone else. Beebe says training and dedication get the officers through.
What guys will do, what lengths they'll go through just to try to save a life or help somebody out. It's inspiring, and it's not always something that people see.
Every day different, every day a new challenge. That was clear on day 2 with Deputy Brad Moore. He expected more accidents. He got a manhunt. An inmate from the county jail walked off a work detail. The search took all morning, all across town.
He's not here. I'm gonna go to 26th Street. I mean, we train to do whatever's needed and to protect people and go home at the end of the day. I think instinct takes over a lot of times. Just got to do what's right.
Moore and other deputies finally caught the young man. No foot race, no resistance. Just a mistake that will likely add to his jail time. Even offenders are real people too, and the officers engage as human beings while enforcing the law.
He didn't even think about it while he was doing it, I'm sure. And now he's just got to deal with the consequences. Police officers have hearts too, and they have families and lives of their own, and we don't go out to ruin people's lives and ruin people's families, and we're not all hardcore.
So we learned a deputy's day in Grant County is never the same as the one before. The common thread? Commitment to a better community.
Thank you much.
Possible because they're out there no matter what.
So I'm sure that you got to enjoy your ride along. I know last week I was with the firemen. You got to go along with the sheriff's department. Are you just as thrilled as I was?
I was, and you know, one of the things that I think comes through in both of those stories that you mentioned, and we're impressed when we're riding along, is the professionalism. No matter the weather or the situation they have to encounter, these people are kind of even, steady, and I'm glad they're out there.
Still professional even when a giant camera is in their face. They're not used to that on their jobs every day.
Well, they tolerate us. But it is fun to spend time with them, and I've spent time with Marion City Police, now Grant County Sheriff's deputies a couple of times, police, EMH. I'm glad they're out there. We need them.
Especially when things happen.
I feel a
They're
little
there for
better
you.
when I'm out in the weather.
Same here. Well, when we come back, hear how you can be involved with Walk a Mile in My Shoes.
Debbie Ballard joins us from the Grant County Rescue Mission when we come back. Well, a lot of things happening during the month of February in Grant County. If you've been around a while, you know one of the big ones is Walk a Mile in My Shoes. And Debbie Ballard is here from the Grant County Rescue Mission to kind of get us up to date. And Debbie, I'm going to assume a lot of people in the audience have participated. A lot of people have been there. But we were talking before we came on that this is now 10 years.
Yes.
Just blink and there we go.
Yes.
What do you think has made this tradition grow in Marion that you have now? You can look at it, and usually 600-700 people sometimes.
Well, I think that the more people come, it's kind of word of mouth. They're able to tell other people about it, friends, family, and it's just a good time. You know, it's a time to come out. I've used this term before, but about that time of year, people are getting cabin fever, and it's something fun to get out and do, and it's a 1 mile walk. It's easy to do. You get to kind of come as a group or come on your own. We welcome anyone. We have snacks, refreshments, and
Yeah, they do take good care of you.
we
We've
do.
been there.
We make sure that you're well fed when you come. People who register and come out get a free T-shirt. So it's just a fun thing to do on a Saturday morning in February.
In 10 years, how are you trying to make the event more unique every year as it keeps going on?
Well, you know, of course, we try to expand it and try to help it to grow. The more that come, the more word that gets out, the more awareness that's raised for the rescue mission. We also, several years ago, we added a Volunteer of the Year award that we also give away and present to one of our volunteers annually. So that's something kind of new that we've done that adds a little festivity to it.
We were talking numbers, and a lot of us have blotted out the winter of 2014.
We want to forget that.
But you haven't forgotten the fact
No.
that the weather really slammed you that day. And of course, we can't know today what February 21st is going
Right.
to look like. But whether weather affects it or not, I think people can register and still give.
Right. People, if they register, they still are able to get a registration packet that I send out to them. And in that packet, there's a donation envelope, and they can collect donations and bring them the day of the walk and get a free T-shirt. But if something happens that the weather does prevent them from being able to come, they can still turn their money in at the rescue mission when they can get out and still pick up their free T-shirt, and it'll still help us.
And this money is going to the rescue mission, but what exactly is helping it with the rescue mission?
With all of the money that's raised by the walkers, and I will say that we do have several great sponsors that sponsor the walk every year, and everything that they donate helps us to underwrite the cost of the walk. So every penny that's raised by the walkers goes directly to the rescue mission, and we provide 3 meals a day, 7 days a week. Anyone who stays at the rescue mission, if they need clothing, anything that they need, we provide it. It helps us to pay our utility bills in the winter, keep the heat going and the electricity going. So it just goes to help us to continue the programs that we have in place.
Has this turned into one of your biggest fundraisers? I know it's one of your biggest name events, but
Right.
fundraisers?
It really is our biggest fundraiser that the community is involved in.
I wonder why. I've asked you this every year, but What is it about just that walk, that idea of getting out in the cold that seems to resonate with people?
You know, we try to promote this as an awareness raiser and a fundraiser, and we try to just help people to remember that homelessness affects people in all kinds of weather all year long. But if you think about someone who's homeless in February, let's say even last year in February, as cold as it was, they're not going to survive. If they don't have someplace like the rescue mission to go, they can't sleep in their car, they can't sleep in an abandoned home. I think last year we had a couple that tried to stay in an abandoned home and started a fire in a bathtub and burnt the house down. So without the rescue mission being there, there's a lot of people that would have nowhere to go, and they could face possible death if we weren't there. So, you know, we provide meals, we provide shelter, we provide clothing and things that they need. And we just want people to realize, number one, we're there. If they know someone who has a need, they can send them to us. And also we're there and they can help us to help people in need here in Grant County.
And do you find that a lot of people respond well to that, or a lot of people maybe been there the full 10 years?
Right. We have people that have been at the walk every year, and they brag every year that they have every T-shirt. So that's kind of fun
cool.
for me, and it means a lot that people are that excited about it. But we have people that come because maybe they've had family members or they've had friends. We have one gentleman that came and actually he came to the walk the first or second year, and he came in and took a tour of the rescue mission after that. And he saw someone that was staying at the mission that he had went to high school with, and it really affected him. It really made him, it hit home that this could happen to anybody. And you know, we just want people to know we're there to help, and if they have anyone in need, they can send them to us.
And I don't think any of us that have been there thinks that most of the people there think that they're doing a great thing. You know, it's like, oh, just I'm walking a mile in the cold. But the feeling of community that people get, that all of us together are doing a little something, it really is hard to explain that, as we try to do every year, until you just go. So go. Right.
You just have to go and experience it. And one thing we found out is Grant County is a giving community, and there's never been a need that I can speak for the rescue mission. There's never been something that we've needed that the community didn't come forward and help.
And you will see that if you show up. So if you want to come and be a part of that, as we said, it is on February 21st. It's Walk a Mile. You show up in the morning, and I believe it starts at 10 o'clock.
Starts at 10 o'clock.
Starts at 10, but the fun starts as early as 9. There's usually some breakfast, there's usually some snacks, and you can get to the website there, grantcountyrescuemission.com. Email Debbie at dbrballard, you see it there if I say it wrong, at yahoo.com. And that is an entry deadline of February 17th, but you could probably still walk in.
That's right. We have a lot of people that just walk in the day of the walk, and they can still check in and possibly get a free T-shirt if we have extras. So
fantastic. Thank you, Debbie Ballard, Grant
Thank
County
you for
Rescue
having
Mission.
me.
Well, when we come back, you can wash that snow right out of your drive. That's right, the musical's coming to the IWU stage.
South Pacific, it's all coming up next. Well, welcome back to Crossroads. Well, Randall, something we've talked about on here is how we have the same church background, one that doesn't involve any dancing.
It means we have no rhythm, that's all. Doesn't mean we don't like dancing.
And it also involves a very strong Southern gospel background.
We'll speak for
but
yourself.
other than that music, are you a fan of musicals?
Yeah, I did grow up watching some musicals. Wished I could have seen more of them on stage as a child, because they're very, very different. But I think we saw Sound of Music when I was a teenager, and I remember a number of them on television, Oklahoma, some others. Common thread there.
Rodgers and Hammerstein is actually my favorite.
Yep.
I think I've seen most of them. I have the whole collection, and but I love it when these big musicals come to Indiana Wesleyan, which when they do, we love to feature them from the IWU Theater Guild here on Crossroads. And this year, the actors are teaming up with the Division of Music for a classic set on a tropical island in World War II. You guessed it, it's South Pacific. Ryan Flaherty learned from set to dance to acting. It takes a lot of work and a lot of guys to bring it to life.
From sets to singing, the girls and the guys, the waves of South Pacific are coming together. The Indiana Wesleyan Theater Guild and the Division of Music present the Rodgers and Hammerstein production. It's a story on an island that covers love, prejudice, and all during World War II. And that means lots of men.
Most shows end up being very female heavy, especially when you go to community and high school productions. And you end up feeling like you have to carry the male weight of the show. But here we have so many strong men and so many dedicated men that you really feel like you're working as a team for once, which is really great.
A unique opportunity for the guys to take the spotlight. But the guys aren't the only ones stealing the show. The orchestra breathes life into every scene.
This is actually one of my favorite musicals. There are tunes that everybody knows from this show. And the orchestrations are absolutely beautiful. It's from this golden age of musical theater.
It's probably the most beautiful score ever written for musical theater. And for this specific production, I'm really excited to perform with such a fantastic orchestra because it's truly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
But it can't be South Pacific unless all the sailors are on an island.
I think the best thing that a set can do is make the actors feel like they're living in this moment. I think that if you do your designs really well, then the actors will perform even better because they'll feel like they're in an island. They'll feel like they're in a hut or they're in a commander's office.
All these pieces come together to create an experience.
It's a show that I didn't necessarily grow up with, but when I was in middle school, it was a musical the high school put on, and I had some very good friends in it. And I had even a friend in it who played one of the lead roles who went on to be in the military, and I feel a certain responsibility to represent him and all of our armed forces.
Whether you've sung the tunes all your life, or this is your first time experiencing it, South Pacific will leave you dreaming of the tropics in the middle of Indiana winter. For Crossroads, I'm Ryan Flaherty.
Well, Shaylee, we know a lot of people want to see this, and if you want to see the musical, it's on February 12th to the 14th at 7:30 p.m. in the Philippine Performing Arts Center, and on the 14th at 2 p.m. And then the next weekend, if you're seeing the show then, you got another chance the 20th and 21st at 7:30 p.m. The matinee on the 21st is at 2 p.m.
And for ticket information, you can call the Philippi box office at 677-2610.
And I've only seen South Pacific on film, never on stage.
I've never seen it on stage either, and I would imagine it's a lot better.
I'm
'cause the
really
film's
looking
actually
forward to
really
that.
old, so.
And getting all those college guys
to
dance and sing.
This is going to be great.
They even pulled some people from our TV crew. Not going to give any names, but they
I will be there, front row.
Unknown talent. Well, when we come back, we're going to celebrate a team that's being honored after 30 years.
Marion Giants basketball is honoring their undefeated championship team. Well, welcome back to Crossroads. A little earlier, we were talking about February bringing in the winter weather, and spring's still coming. But another big thing that really kicks up in February is basketball because, you know, March Madness.
And February is all about getting into that warm basketball arenas all over the state.
Oh, I think I've already been to 3 games, which is a big thing for me.
That's a big deal for her.
But I love going back and watching my high school play.
Well, it's really true. If there's any state that knows goods basketball, it's Indiana. And in town here, Marion High School keeps up with the Hoosier pride by holding up seven count 'em, state championship. But maybe none of them was as special as that one back in '85, a team that went undefeated. Our Peter Mercer found out 30 years did not dim the memory of that classic group who wore the purple and gold, and they're still proud to be a team for the ages.
The greatest basketball team ever to play for Marion High School, the 1985 undefeated state champion.
The 1985 undefeated Marion Giants basketball team. The team that started the Purple Rain, 3 straight state championships, returns home to the Bill Green Arena.
Let's hear it for LaVon Fish Bowen!
The team is still very well received at the arena, and countless fans came up requesting pictures, autographs, and just to make casual conversation. For LaVon Fish Bowens, this is the first time he's returned in 30 years, and he is happy to see everyone again.
Oh man, it's a wonderful feeling because we all in different fields. I coach high school basketball in Chicago, and just finding out what all my other teammates, players are doing. You know, we've been out of touch for a while, but we're still together like we've been playing all day since we've been here.
Before the game, the team spoke to some of the current Giants in the locker room. The one lesson the '85 team wanted to teach the Giants is that teamwork is everything.
A lot of times, everybody in the game of basketball, they want to be like Mike. But basketball is it's a team sport. It's not an individual sport. A lot of times to win championships, you have to be able to trust and rely on your teammates. When you do that, that'll get you rings and trophies and all the accolades that comes along with that.
The 1985 undefeated state champion Marion Giants will be inducted into the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame in March. But for now, they're just hometown heroes. For Crossroads, I'm Peter Mercer.
Shaylee, I had the privilege of going with Peter on that shoot, and it was just so much fun to see person after person after person that wanted to talk to that team. I remember 30 years ago, I was out of high school, but just to see those people and still how many of them are in town and wanted to say hi.
And especially for the people who were probably at that game, I mean, it was almost like bringing back a very fun night in history to Marion.
It was, and you know, you see those kinds of things, those kind of honors at halftime. A lot of times, you know, people are saying, "Oh, well, who is this?" But everyone was focused on this group.
It's Indiana basketball.
It's Indiana, and it's Marion tradition.
Well, we want you to know that we value your input on the show. If you have ideas for stories or you want to comment on something you've seen here at Crossroads, you can send us an email at crossroads@nwes.edu. That's crossroads@indwes.edu. Or if you'd rather write us a letter, you can drop us a note at WIWU-TV, 4201 South Washington Street, Marion, Indiana, 46953.
And the best place to reach into the Crossroads archives is online. You can look at wiwutv.com/crossroads. You get to all of our stories and full shows when you want to just share that with someone. You can also check out Facebook and Twitter, where we get a behind the scenes look at things that we're doing here while we're out covering the community, and out in the stories, you get a look there. So just go to facebook.com/wiwutv or follow us on Twitter at WIWUTV. Shaylee, in addition to all that Crossroads stuff we've also got possible Crossroads League action and also NAIA tournament, because our Indiana Wesleyan Wildcats, men and women, are good again.
And we're coming up on tournament season and more championships, and I'm ready to see them bring more championships home.
I never get tired of being bored by the fact that they're good every year. Isn't that great for us?
It's a good problem to have.
You get to keep up with all that online with Facebook and Twitter, where we'll put all that information up as they make another run at the national title.
I'm ready to see them bring it back. Well, for everyone who's worked on this show, I'm Shaylee Clark.
And I'm Randall King. The Crossroads of Life bring people together, and that's what we try to do here each week.
So long.